Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be giving you some tips on how I draw this really realistic looking nose. Okay, so the first thing I do is just use a kneaded eraser to rub out all the harsh lines so that I can just very barely see the sketch underneath. I start working on the darkest part of the nose, which is the underside of the nose near the nostrils. I start shading it really lightly with the 2H pencil, but later on I'm going to be going back and darkening that up a bit. A harder pencil is great to use at the start because it fills in all the little crevices of the paper, so it doesn't just glide over the top so you see the texture. It fills in all the little holes, so when you put darker tones on it you won't see that texture. I then go in with a cotton swab, which I've covered in powdered charcoal, and I just use that to outline some of the darker regions of the nose. When using powdered charcoal on a cotton swab, make sure you wipe the excess off on a scrap piece of paper because you don't want to put it straight onto your piece, else it will be too dark and it's hard to erase that back up. I love using a cotton swab because it creates a really smooth finish, which is really good for skin, but it doesn't make it too smooth, so it gives that natural skin kind of texture. As you can see, I make sure that I leave the highlights white so I know where they are. I do not go over the cotton swab in those regions. You can also see that underneath the nose there will be a shadow cast. It's really important to include that shadow to make sure that your nose looks three-dimensional. I then go in with a hard 2H charcoal pencil. This is by Generals. It's a really good charcoal pencil and it's good for getting really fine detail. So I use that for the nostrils, which are the darkest part of this drawing. I then use a tiny paintbrush, a detailed paintbrush, and I use that with some powdered charcoal to really get the details. So I use that as a little detailing brush with the powdered charcoal, and it's really great for getting those fine details and those darker shadows. I use the paintbrush with some powdered charcoal directly over the nose, the nostrils, and that helps to kind of blend that out so that it doesn't look like such a sharp transition. It makes it into a really smooth transition so that you can't see this sudden like circle where the nostrils are. It kind of blends it out so you can't really see a definitive line. I also go and darken up the sides of the nose. I then used a clean cotton bud and I just used that to go and blend over all of those dark shadows to help smooth it all out so there wasn't such harsh transitions. I then go and darken up some of the areas which need to be darker, and also some of the places where I do want more harsher edges, some more bold dark tones where I don't want it necessarily always smooth, because that helps show the structure of the nose as well. I then quickly went in with a 2H pencil and I just used this to add a bit more texture to the skin so it didn't look so smooth. I used the 2H pencil on the bridge of the nose and I used a circular motion, and it really helped to create some really nice skin texture. I then went in with a kneaded eraser and started to pull out some highlights. It was really good to use the kneaded eraser in these sort of circumstances for the skin because it helps to create more gradual highlights and not such harsh, distinct highlights. Sometimes when the kneaded eraser did create a bit of a harsh highlight, I went in with the cotton bud and just smoothed that back out. I then just used a charcoal pencil to darken up the outer edges of the nose. I then used a bigger, fluffier brush just with some powdered charcoal, and I kind of smoothed that in most places of the nose to just darken it up because it was looking a bit light. And I used it particularly on the darker sides of the nose to cast more of that shadow. I then started using both the 2H pencil and the charcoal pencil, in particular on the underside of the nose, to refine some of those dark shadows. So I used the charcoal pencil to add the darkness, and then the 2H just helped to smooth out those edges and also transition it a bit better so it wasn't so harsh. I then just added a bit more shadow underneath the nose and just lifted up those highlights once again to make them a bit bolder. I then just did some final little details and touch-ups. And that's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys found that helpful. If you liked it, please give it a like and feel free to subscribe if you're interested in seeing my future how to draw videos. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day.